Firstly, thank you very much for coming to Smart Cherry Thoughts YouTube channel and podcast.
My pleasure.
I've gone through your profile and I thought to introduce you and the work that you are doing to my audience.
Okay,
Yeah, so can you please introduce yourself?
absolutely. So my name is Michelle Frechette. I am the Director of Community Engagement for StellarWP, which is a umbrella brand for the software within Liquid Web hosting. So we have different brands like iThemes, GiveWP, LearnDash, things like that work within WordPress. I am also the president of the board for Big Orange Heart, which is a nonprofit organization for remote workers. And I'm also on the staff. I'm the director of community relations and a contributor at PostStatus, which is poststatus.com for people who are interested in learning more about what happens within the WordPress community.
You are from?
I'm in Rochester, New York, in the U.S.
Awesome. What made you to do so many things?
Yeah, so I started building WordPress websites about almost 10 years ago. So in 2022, it will be 10 years since I first built my first site. And I left my job in higher education to start my own freelance company doing digital marketing, including building WordPress websites. After a few years of doing that, I joined a meetup and learned more about the community involved with WordPress, and then started attending WordCamps. WordCamp Buffalo, for example, Toronto, Ottawa, places around that I could drive to from where I live in New York, and discovered how much I loved working within the WordPress community. And so I started speaking at different WordCamps. And as a result of that, kind of grew up within the WordPress ecosystem, applied for a job with GiveWP. And then I was doing so much with them and becoming a bigger part of the community with all the speaking and organizing I was doing that I started volunteering at Big Orange Heart, and then just kind of grew into these different roles. People would ask for help with this or that, and I would say, yes, of course, I will be happy to help. And as a result of all of that, then our company was acquired by Liquid Web, and I took a role within StellarWP, working specifically within community, internal community within our brands, but also the external community within WordPress itself, which has really been an amazing thing for me. So last week we had State of the Word for WordPress, which Matt Mullenweg was presenting about the status of WordPress, and I was invited to attend in person, and so I was able to go to New York City last week and be in the front row for that, and then also even get a one-on-one interview with him afterwards for Post Status, talking about acquisitions within the WordPress community and what that meant for employment for people who are looking to build careers within WordPress.
Tell me, you as Director of Community of Engagement, Stiller WP.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Tell me, you as Director of Community
Yes.
Engagement at Stellar WP.
Yep. So as the director of community engagement there, I work within our brands, and so I help bridge the gap sometimes between marketing endeavors within our different brands and help fill in the gaps when they have some needs. For example, when we're launching a new product, I'll often help with press release and managing social media and things like that around that for engagement within the community. I do my best to find opportunities for people within the different brands, the general managers within the brands, for example, to write blog posts or be on podcasts and things like that to, kind of further the brand a little bit, especially when we have a new product that launches. And then I also work within the community. So the work that I do at Big Orange Heart, the work that I do within WordPress, when I'm speaking at WordCamps, for example, things like that are all part of what I do within my job at Stellar, to try to bring everything that we do back out into the community and show, how much we're involved in the community, how much we want the community to grow, and how much we're a part of making that happen as well.
Awesome. So tell me, you as a co-founder of UnderRepdInTech. Yeah.
Yeah, so Underrepresented in Tech, about a little over a year ago, Ali Nimmons and I had been talking. We had been talking a lot because people would come to us in the community and say, "Do you know anybody who could help, speak at our event? We really want to increase the diversity, or we want to increase the inclusion, so that it isn't just a bunch of white men sitting on the stage, or a bunch of white men doing podcasts and things like that." And she's a Black woman. I'm an older white woman, but I also have disabilities, and so we have all of these different opportunities. And we wanted to build something that would allow people to opt in to being part of that. So we built UnderRepresentedInTech.com, and it's an opportunity for people who are in underrepresented communities to join a database that can then be searched for what it is that you want to be known for. So let's say that you want to be on podcasts and you want to talk about development within WordPress. You can say you're interested in those three things. Somebody who has a podcast can be looking for podcast guests that do development in WordPress, and you will show up. And because we have vetted you, we've had you apply, we can confirm that you are part of an underrepresented community. We don't tell anybody what your underrepresentation is. Clearly, if you're a woman and you identify as a woman, and it's obvious that you're a woman. But there are some white men in our database as well, because they may be neurodivergent, they may be part of the LGBTQ community, they may have other disabilities. So just being a white man doesn't preclude you from being part of the underrepresented community, because it's very important to us that people from all of the different underrepresented groups have representation within projects, within events, and within corporations, so that we can, increase the inclusion across the board.
Awesome. So, and also you are into podcasting, WP Coffee Talk.
Yeah, so Underrepresented in Tech has its own podcast, and so we're not doing one this week because of the holiday, but Ali and I do a weekly recording for Underrepresented in Tech, and then I also have my own podcast, WP Coffee Talk, where I interview people in the WordPress community from around the world, and I ask every single person the same set of questions. So it's always the same questions, and it's always different answers because everybody has different thoughts, of course. But it's a fun way for me to introduce the WordPress community to one another, have a cup of coffee, meet people, or tea, or water, or whatever we're drinking. But the whole idea is, if you were sitting down and having a cup of coffee with somebody in a cafe, what kind of conversation might you have? And so I always have fun with my guests, and they seem to have fun with me as well. And so that's something that's a lot of fun to do, for sure. And then I also am part of another podcast called The Week in WordPress, which is part of WP Builds. So if you go to wpbuilds.com, you can find The Week in WordPress. Nathan Wrigley is the mastermind behind that, and I am one of the co-hosts that interviews with people. And so this past week, for example, we had Zach Terrell from the events calendar and Anne McCarthy, who's part of Automatic and WordPress, as guests, and we were able to talk about the state of the word, the future of WordPress, and whatever has been happening during that week in WordPress news. And so that's a lot of fun to do as well. I'm a 53-year-old woman. If somebody had said to me 10 years ago, you're going to have podcasts and you're going to have a career in technology, I would have thought they were crazy. But life often hands you what you need, not what you think you want, and I wouldn't change anything. I absolutely adore what I do for a living, and I absolutely adore working with the people in our community and helping people as much as I possibly can.
Awesome. So post status contributor.
Pardon me?
Post status contributor.
Oh, yeah. So post status is, it's kind of a news source for people. We talk about what's happening in the community, but we are not journalism. So we are not giving, a hot take on things or looking to stir up drama and controversy about anything. More, it's that we curate content about what's happened in the web, and we put it out on our website with links back to the original sources. We also have an email that goes out once a week that has all of that curated within it. There's a couple of podcasts associated with Post Status. One is called Get Hired, and that's Courtney Robertson that spearheads that podcast. And it's about how you can grow within the WordPress community and how you can find jobs within the WordPress community. I do a lot of writing. We didn't really have much of a blog before I joined Post Status, and now we have more people who are blogging there. And so I'm blogging about jobs. I'm blogging about how to build your career, how to hire people, and I also blog about underrepresentation, as well as just other things that kind of come to mind that I have a feeling would be helpful to other people. And I just really enjoy that part of the community as well. So welcoming people into Post Status, being part of what we do there, and being part of that team. I've just joined them in the end of October, so really hit the ground running in November. So it's been almost 2 months that I've been working with Post Status, and it's phenomenal. The things that we have planned for this next year. In April, I have the very first ever WordPress Career Summit, so WP Career Summit. I'm building the website this week. It doesn't exist yet, but soon you'll be able to go to wpcareersummit.com, sign up to be part of that event. It'll be free to attend. And I will have 2 tracks, one for people who are career seekers, so somebody who's looking to have a job within WordPress, and we'll have speakers talking about things like how to build your portfolio, how to write a good resume, good interview techniques, things like that that are very important for getting your foot in the door, getting hired. And then we'll have another track for employers, how to do better recruiting, how to do better interviewing, things to look for, and how you can be more inclusive in your hiring and more diverse and inclusive in your recruiting, so that we can see more people get jobs, and it'll be easier for employers because they'll have better practices to do that. So that's coming in April. And then in May, this isn't even announced yet, so you'll be the first to know this. In May, we're going to have an entirely online Twitter conference for Post Status, and that page on our website will be built out soon, but it'll be entirely online, and we'll be looking for quote-unquote speakers because it's just tweeting, right? Hey Presto Conf had done this a few years back, and they reached out to me and said they're not going to be doing it anymore. I had participated with them and interviewed them as part of that, but instead I asked, would you mind if we took over doing something like that? And so we're going to be doing that in May. I think that's May 24th. We're going to have an online Twitter conference as well with the appropriate hashtags, etc. So look for that to be coming out on poststatus.com as well very soon.
So you studied MBA and you came into technology. What is this?
So I worked in higher education for over 20 years. My undergraduate degree is in religion and philosophy. And then I worked at the University of Rochester and in the MBA school, the business school, and it was free for me to get an MBA while I worked there, and I thought, hey, why not? So I got an MBA while I was working there, and discovered a real passion for marketing. And at the time that I was doing that, it was about 20 years, it was a little more than 20 years ago now. I graduated in 2001. The internet was really starting to take off. It cost, just for a .com to purchase the URL was about $45 to $75 because it was brand new. We quickly implemented an e-commerce program, not even knowing what that was even going to look like, and I'm sure it's different today. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I want to learn that too. And as a result of all of those things and starting to build websites, like I said, I found a career that, I'm 53. When I was growing up, there was no such thing as the internet. We didn't have computers in our homes, any of that. So if somebody had said to me at 10 years old, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl? I could never have said I want to work in technology and the internet because it wasn't something, number one, girls didn't go into technology when I was growing up. We were told we could be nurses or teachers or mommies, right? Nobody ever said, go into tech, be an astronaut, any of those things. But now, of course, the doors are open for women to do so many more things. And I'm just thrilled that I was able to find my way into this career, this community, and help other women and other minorities, whatever minority group they're from, whatever underrepresented place they are coming from, find a way into this as well as a career if that's something that they want to do, as living proof that it can be done.
Awesome. So I can see you're saying that uh, you want to change something before you going from this world.
Yes. I want to make sure that little girls, growing up now can be anything that they want to be. I want to make sure that adult women now can be anything that they want to be. I recently had a woman message me on Twitter saying she had been taking some classes in web design. She's 50 years old, and she was starting to feel very discouraged because she wasn't sure that she could actually have a career in technology and in WordPress. And somehow in her search, she found WP Coffee Talk. And she heard me talking to so many people in the industry, and it gave her hope. And she wanted to reach out to me and say thank you for that. And so even if that's one person that I've helped to feel good and move forward in a career, I can say my mission is accomplished. But of course, I want to be able to help as many people as possible find those careers as they can and move in a direction that is fulfilling to them as well.
Do you want to say anything that will help a lot of people through my show now?
Yeah, I think if you want a career in technology, you can make it happen. It isn't always easy, and it isn't always perhaps the way that you think it will grow. So I have a lot of people following me on Twitter that their entire Twitter account is hire me, I work on Fiverr. I can build the best website for you. I will implement, and every single tweet that they put out there is about what I can do, and I'm an expert, and I do this so good. Nobody reads those kinds of tweets when they're really part of the industry. In order to really grow a career, whether it's WordPress or technology in general, you need to be having conversation, be part of the conversation in Twitter. So if if somebody posts something, let's say you see something on post status that we post an article about something, comment on that. Find a conversation. Don't just always say, I can build this for you. Do you want me to build this for you? Because we all have people that build things. I build my own. I don't need to hire somebody to build my websites. But if you can show you're relevant by having conversations about technology and posting about things besides just, I can do this, then other people will begin to follow you. And other people will begin to see your value, and whether you want to continue to work on Fiverr or whichever site that you're building, or you will be hired through another company. We look at things like Twitter, and we look to see how active you are in the community. Not necessarily that you have to volunteer and give a lot of time, but how active are you in conversations about what's happening in the community? Can you talk about the future of Gutenberg in WordPress? Can you talk about full site editing? Can you contribute with your opinions to the conversation? Those kinds of conversations are important. Do you have a link to your GitHub repository? Can I look and see some of the work that you've done there? And I can see that you're good at code, or you're good at marketing, or whatever it is. Your portfolio speaks volumes for you, but only if you're speaking to people, not just shouting at them like you're marketing every opportunity that you have. I think that is the best advice that I could offer to somebody in the community wanting to have a career. Is it's not just always about selling yourself by shouting what you can do. It's actually showing what you can do, and that you have a basic understanding or an in-depth understanding of the things that you talk about by having conversations and contributing to the conversation, whether it's on Twitter or elsewhere, LinkedIn, wherever it is, but that you're blogging and you're showing the depth of your knowledge. I think that is going to take you much farther than anything else.
So you wrote a book, a good firm handshake. What is it about?
Yeah, so the book I wrote, I had a friend who wrote a book, and I was very jealous because I've always wanted to write a book. And I said, I'm so proud of you, but I'm also a little jealous because I want to write a book. And she said, you have practically already written a book. I had been blogging for the local newspaper in Rochester about business, and she said, if you took every one of those blog posts and expanded them into a full chapter, you would have a book on how to help entrepreneurs, go beyond what they know how to do. Whether, let's say that it's not even tech related. Let's say that you're a painter and you paint houses for a living. You might not know how to do marketing for your company. You might not know how to manage taking time off from your company and those kinds of things. And so that book is a series of chapters that can help you think through how to develop your business card, for example, how to develop time off, how to appreciate people in your company, and how to know whether a customer is the right customer for you, a good fit, or when you should actually say, no, that's not the right customer for me. And so that's the whole idea behind the book. It's called A Good Firm Handshake. I will say it was written prior to the pandemic. So I know we're not shaking hands much now. So I probably would have given it a different title if I was writing it today. But the whole concept behind the book is really each chapter is a standalone. You can skip around, read the things that are interesting to you, but to give you some ideas if you're just starting out as an entrepreneur or you are working within a small business, to help you move the business forward and feel more confident in the things that you do within your business.
Tell me you as coach.
Pardon me?
Tell me you as coach.
Oh, as a coach?
Yeah.
So I do a little bit of coaching on the side, more consulting now than coaching, but I love helping people to build their businesses by giving them solid advice and helping them think through things. So the very first person I ever coached, she was she had her own WordPress design, web design business, freelancing, and she would come to our meetups, but she was so shy. She would never ask a question. She would always ask me afterwards or message me later if she had a question, because she was so shy to raise her hand and speak in front of 10 other people, And so I started to work with her. We worked on pricing so that I would help her raise her prices and make more money, because the industry here in Rochester, where she was focused, would pay more, and so she could make more money and not have to do as much work. I helped her with her pricing. We analyzed her website and changed verbiage and changed words and things, order of things on her website. We talked about offerings and the way that she could do that. And I helped her gain confidence in how to present herself within the community. And within the first 6 months that she and I were working together, she went from being afraid to ask a question in a meetup to actually presenting a topic at a WordCamp outside of the United States even. And so for me to watch her not only begin to make more money and do more with her business, but gain confidence to go from being so afraid to talk to anybody to presenting in front of a room full of 30 people at a WordCamp was it was just so fulfilling for me to be able to do that with her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you as blogger, tell me you as blogger.
Yeah. So I do have my own blog, but I will tell you that my blog is very, very neglected. I haven't blogged on my own blog in well over a year, but I blog for other people frequently. So I blog on the wpminute.com. I've written there, castos.com. I've written for them. I've written a lot for givewp.com, and of course I blog on poststatus.com as well. And then other places that have asked me to contribute. I love contributing ideas to other people's blogs to help them build their business. And it's usually I get paid for doing those kinds of things in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes they sponsor my podcast, or sometimes they pay me outright for stories that I write, or not stories, but blog posts that I create for them. And or I'm on staff, things like that. And I really enjoy being able to use the written word to help people move their businesses forward, show different ways that they can connect with the community through their business, and really kind of grow the way that, and maybe even challenge the way that they do things to move themselves in a different direction.
And tell me you as speaker.
So I speak a lot. I speak a lot of things. I think I've attended now almost 50 WordCamps, and I think I've spoken at about 48 of them. So I have a lot of topics that I talk about. I'm not a developer, although I do have a plugin in the WordPress repository, but it's a very simple one, and it's basically, it's called Hello Beautiful, and when you log into your WordPress website, if you have that logged in, it'll tell you something wonderful about yourself at the top of your screen, like Hello Dolly does. But I don't talk about code, I don't talk about in-depth things like that, but I talk about things that basic users might want to learn. I'm speaking at a conference this next year about the status of jobs and employment within WordPress. I'm speaking, let's see, what is the other one? I just did one in Taiwan. I spoke at WordCamp Taiwan a few weeks ago about why I decided to develop a tiny little plugin and what I learned from doing that. I talk about things that people might not know about that happen within WordPress themselves. And so those kinds of things that I talk about blogging, I talk about all those kinds of things, just because it's fun to do. And I think as long as I have something that I can share that other people can learn from, I want to do it and I want to help other people.
And tell me, you as photographer.
Yeah, so I'm an avid photographer. I do a lot of nature photography. Excuse me. If you go to Instagram.com/Michelle Ames, you can see my photography. I do a lot of nature photography. I got some wonderful pictures recently of an American bald eagle caught a fish and was flying with the fish in his talons, and so I was able to catch that. But I also do family photography, and I did a whole bunch of family photography for different families in my neighborhood for Christmas, for example. So
Awesome. So
I have a tickle in my throat. Excuse me.
yeah, so what is your connection with WordPress?
My connection with WordPress is that I am an avid user, and I contribute to growing the WordPress community however I can. But
Okay.
I'm not paid by Automatic. I'm not hired to do any of those things. I love that I can interview people in WordPress. Matt Mullenweg was on my podcast, for example, and be able to do those kinds of things. And it's just, it's my career, but it's also my friendship base. I have so many friends in the WordPress community. It's how I make a living, but it's also the people I choose to be around, and have as my friends.
Nice. So you can have water.
I don't have any on my desk.
Okay. Can I ask you more questions or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another question is, tell me, you as a consultant.
I consult with people very much the same way that I do coaching. So coaching is more long term. Consulting, I might just have one conversation or two conversations with somebody where they have a specific issue that they want to talk about and want to learn more how to grow things like that. And so I'll meet with people one-on-one, or I'll meet with a company, with a group of people, and talk through their whatever their challenge is at the moment, and help them think around other ways to solve that. So I don't do a lot of that, but I'm available to consult with companies when they do need some help.
Nice. And the last one is you as podcaster.
Yeah, so we talked about my podcast already a little bit. So I love just getting to talk to people all over the community and be able to be part of that and to share other people's stories. I love being a guest on podcasts because I get to talk about these kinds of things as well. And I mean, everybody likes talking about themselves a little bit, so it's always fun to be able to talk about the things that I do and share. Not because I want people to think I'm amazing, because I want people to see in themselves the same possibilities that I've created in my life. So if you're 50 years old and you want to, be a WordPress website designer, builder, developer, you can do that. I'm living proof that you can do those things, and so if you can see yourself in me at all, and you can see that you could do things better than me, then absolutely you have an opportunity within the WordPress community.
So at last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
I haven't yet, but I will be subscribing very soon and watching things there. I was out of town the last 2 weeks, and so I have been very, very busy since you originally contacted me. But I will be spending some time over the next week taking a look.
And what do you say about our conversation? In
I'm
this
sorry, say
in
again?
this what do you say about our conversation in this video?
I still don't understand what you asked me. I'm sorry.
What do you say about our my questioning in this
Oh,
conversation?
our conversation. It's great. I love it. You're asking good questions. You walked basically right through my resume to see different things or my bio to talk about the things that I think are important to me because I included them in my bio. And you were able to ask, deeper questions. So tell me more about this and tell me more about that. And so that's really great. Like I said, people love to talk about themselves. That's why I am a podcaster, because I ask the questions and get people to talk about themselves as well. So I am a person, and I do like to talk about the things that I do because I am proud of the work that I've done.
Awesome. I also have two websites where I built it in WordPress, and I did masters in software engineering and graduation
Ooh,
in computer science and engineering. I do
that's
blogging.
wonderful.
I write technical content in one of my WordPress blog.
That's
Another
wonderful.
blog I write non-technical stuff. So both I got like Google AdSense approval, and ads are displaying on it. So it's running. And other than that, I'm doing podcasting and YouTube and taking interviews. I took more than 400 plus like people interviews for my channels and podcasts, which are there in all podcast platforms. And this conversation is also going to be in all the platforms almost in Indian and all over the world. So one final message that you want to give to the entire tech world who is watching and listening to our conversation, and the services that you are providing that you can provide to other country people too, that you can
Hmm.
say through my uh, medium.
So if I could say one thing, if I had to say only one thing to people working in technology, is that there are more people than you think there are who are looking for jobs who can help you move your business forward. You just have to look outside of where you think you have to look sometimes. So specifically when it comes to underrepresented groups, a lot of times people don't think to look to recruit outside of those places. Putting an application on your website that anybody can come to apply is not the same as recruiting underrepresented people. If you want more women on your team, it's not enough to just have an application on your website. You have to go out and recruit people. You have to ask people to apply. You have to post ads where people are. If you want more people of color, if you want more people who represent other groups like LGBTQ or disabled, neurodivergent, you have to go and have to speak about those things. You have to recruit to actually get the diversity within your team and the representation and inclusion on your team. It's not enough to just, if you build it, they will come kind of thing that we talk about. You actually have to go out and recruit the people that you want to build the amazing team that you're hoping to have.
So do you want me to share any web links of yours with my audience?
Sure, you can. I'm actually building a brand new site. I just have to remember what I called it because I came up with a couple of different ones I registered yesterday. It is, one second, it is, what did I come up with? Oh, Meet Michelle Meet Michelle dot online. So it will be like a link tree, but it'll be my link tree that I create, not on somebody else's platform. So all of the links to all of my things will be on meetmichelle.online very soon. So probably by next Monday, that site will be built up, and you can find all of my different social media platforms and all of the different products and different communities that I'm involved in. All of that will be on that one site so that you can discover my book and everything else just by going to meetmichelle.online.
So if you send me those links, I'll put in the description of this video on YouTube. People who find our video on YouTube can see that and can see the work that you're doing.
Yep, I'll be happy to share that with you. I'll send it to you on Twitter.
Thank you, Michael, for giving me your valuable time and spending your valuable experience with my audience.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Absolutely.
Also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you again. Keep going, keep doing what you love, and keep inspiring people like this.
Thank you. And you as well. Thank you so much for helping tell the stories of people in the tech community.
Sure. Okay.